I give away free Steam games with every major video I do, and here's who won this week. The games available to receive are listed below. To enter, just leave a comment and have contact information on your profile. And now, on with the video. I'm playing something almost every week, and sometimes I want to talk about it and give you a vertical slice. So stick with me for some lightning reviews. This week, on the chopping block. This week I replayed Distance. And I don't mean the concept of measurement from one location to another. Distance is an atmospheric science fiction platforming time attack racing title. Yeah, a lot to unpack just by the specification of genre subset. An initial comparison I'd make is by combining the mechanics of Rush 2049 with a mood somewhere between System Shock, Inside, and Super Meat Boy. Like I said prior, I replayed this game because a long time ago, back when it was in early access, I remember getting thoroughly absorbed into it, but I reached the end of what was the campaign at the time, and was left with a core memory of Blue Balls, which is not a core memory one wants to have. Since then, it's been set in my backlog of games I'll eventually go back to, and this week ended up being a good time for that. Most of my spare time has been spent either with Lethal Company, and I'm finally getting enough of a reprieve from work to go visit friends and family that I've been meaning to see since the holidays. Overall, this means I've had less time to play new titles, but Distance is, in spite of all the heaps of praise I'm about to give it, relatively short on just the base campaign aspect. There's a reason I'm qualifying that statement, but we'll get to it later. That aside, it made it perfect for me to still be able to get an upload in for this week. Let me say that, until I played Distance for the first time, I had never experienced a racing game that was so thoroughly able to instill a sense of the foreboding and the ominous. Distance's main challenge is in the platforming, and it's a race against the clock. There are no NPCs or other opponents. It is you against the environment, and the environment seemingly has taken that personally. Without having looked up anything and strictly experiencing the game, the main campaign seems to be a symbolic representation of data or artificial intelligence navigating networks and manifesting in a form that makes sense for a human to comprehend. In this case, a car with enhanced traversal abilities traveling warped and hostile highways. Using that symbolic illustration for data transfer and AI, your objective seems to be making your way from data hub to data hub, with the ultimate objective of transferring out of the space station networks back to Earth, through the visual metaphors of cars and roads. I could be entirely wrong though. Again, this is just what I've taken away through my general observation. Anyway, as you start out, you're driving through relatively simple pathways with minimal obstacles or interference, and you're introduced to your platforming abilities. Initially, you're just given a simple boost and later a vertical jump. A short time later, you're given wings and the ability to fly so long as you have the boost ability to use. And so long as you maintain speed, you can also drive your vehicle on walls or ceilings. While you are progressing from level to level and being given your movement abilities, the game is also looking to maintain engagement with the use of atmospheric storytelling. Every so often, your course navigation is interrupted by some entity that I can't help but feel does not regard you with a sense of warm fuzziness. This is the first racing title that's ever made me feel scared in the sense of being unnerved and not wanting to progress. These moments of terror serve a purpose though, in that they accentuate the high-intensity driving and platforming with moments of downtime, which is valuable because at its peak, Distance also serves as a wonderful zoner game. As in a game that, while you're focused and within the groove, you get a tremendous sense of satisfaction along with pulling off feats within the game that when looked up in hindsight you can't help but be impressed with yourself. Rattling off the intense and rapid series of inputs in order to successfully navigate some of the more complicated tracks is a rush that I rarely experience, but it's not a constant or given state. While it is entirely possible to do these tracks in a first-time run, for most people you're going to trial and error your way through a few tracks, which is not necessarily the worst thing. I said that this game is also a race against the clock, and you're incentivized to revisit tracks to lower your best runs. Plus, when you beat the main campaign, there's massive amounts of user-generated content with the option to race ghosts of other people on your friends list. Or, if you're a mad person, you can endeavor to try and go for world records. The package isn't perfect though, and I'd wager there's a few people that wouldn't be interested in anything I've talked up so far. While rare, the main campaign does have one or two cheat moments with cues that are relayed so late before you approach the hazard that you're highly likely to die at least once on 2 levels. Plus, after you've gotten a ways into the campaign, the interruption of the dark atmosphere moment started to drag down the pacing and went on just a little bit too long, while I waited for the pace to pick back up so I could get back into the zone. And I need to reiterate that this game's wealth of user-generated content ensures that the price of entry guarantees an almost infinite return on investment if you find yourself jiving with the mechanics. And I've only touched on the campaign. I haven't even begun to go into the arcade and stunt modes. Take that for what you will. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got custom courses to browse. Hey, look at that, it's the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember that commenting can actually win you a free prize. So until next time, this is Gheeotine saying thanks for watching and keep your head on your shoulders.